Where was your first hike, Jess?
My first hike was here. This is where it all started. I had a friend call me up and say, hey, we're going to Cradle, do you want to come? And I was like, yeah. I scrapped a couple of things that my dad had, like a backpack, threw some gear together, and we drove out here. We actually climbed Barn Bluff, which is kind of behind Cradle Mountain. And we got up to the top and it was complete whiteout, like typical Tassie weather, really windy like this. But I just remember us running along the ridge, like running along the plateau, and the sun was setting. It was pitch black dark by the time we got to the car. We had no head torches, completely unprepared. And I remember just getting back to the car and just feeling so exhausted, just absolutely wrecked, but also just really happy and really fulfilled. That was my first hike. I'd love to tell you that from then on I hiked every weekend and I was completely hooked and I made it my life, but sadly that's not actually how it happened. I'm just really glad that I had that friend call me up and ask me out on a hike, because it's become a massive part of my life. One of the hard things about the outdoor world is that there's not always a lot of structure and support for someone to develop. Like, I never had a mentor or a leader or anyone to really kind of show me the ropes, so to speak. And I think for that reason, my involvement in the outdoor world kind of came and went. Like, there was periods where I had overwhelming psych and I was out every weekend hiking or climbing, and then long periods where I wasn't really getting out much and I was more interested in partying and drinking and going out with friends, or more interested in studying or work. And I kind of now see those as sort of distractions. But in the end, I think those times were important because it kind of made it clear to me what I was missing. And for a lot of that time, I felt really unfulfilled and I didn't know why. And I experienced this kind of spiritual decay during those times where I wasn't getting out much. So that made it really obvious to me what I needed to do to regain that. There was long periods of time there where I wasn't engaged in anything physical at all. I wasn't exercising, I wasn't doing any kind of training. So I felt very distant and very dissociated from that world of physical exercise during that time, because I was just not really interested in it. But thankfully along the way, I was able to reclaim that and make it my own. And I'm just really happy and grateful now that I get to share that with people. I mean, this is Tassie, right? This is exactly how it is most of the time. Just changing every 5 minutes, super windy. I'm just happy there's a bit of snow. Snow in December in Tasmania. It can literally happen anytime. I think one thing that I regret from my youth was that I spent a lot of time in the back seat. I wasn't the person who was out making the plans, calling up friends. I was kind of just sitting around waiting for the call to adventure to come to me. And if the call never came, then that meant that there was no outlet for me to go out and build that mental and physical fortitude that comes from challenging yourself outside. And that's okay. I mean, maybe we can't always be that proactive, autonomous leader who's planning trips and organising things and inviting people out all the time. There's going to be times in life where you just can't be that person for whatever reason. But we need those leaders. We need those people who are going to be proactive. We need those people who are going to call us up when we're not having such a good time, when it's been a while since we've been out. We need someone to push us sometimes, to call us up and say, hey, do you want to come on a trip? Because if I didn't have that person when I started out, when I was 16 years old, I don't know where I would be now, and I certainly don't think I'd be doing this. So the way that I see my role now and my purpose with what I do is to create an environment to nurture more of those leaders. I want to build an environment that creates the kind of leader that I needed when I was young that I didn't have, who can do the legwork of preparing and planning for the trip and bring people outdoors to have the same experiences that we all love, that have shaped us into who we are and have certainly shaped me into who I am.